Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to Word in the House Ministries. I am so grateful that you are here this morning with Ministries. I'm Minister Andrea. It is so great to see you this morning. I'm excited about this morning. Do you know why? A great holiday is today, and I'm so excited about it. It is my grandmother's birthday. My grandmother, Mary Jane Strafford, is in heaven now. However, today is her birthday. And so I want to say happy birthday in heaven, Grandma. I miss you. Thank you for the wisdom you bestowed upon me throughout my life. Um, she's just an awesome woman. And I'm just grateful that God would allow me to have her in my life. That she was there to train me up, even though she was in South Carolina. So I didn't get to see her much. But when I was able to spend time with her, she taught me so many lessons just in watching her, how to be a lady, how to be demure, how to be meek. She showed me those lessons. As I was growing up, I didn't understand that meek is really power. I thought it was just letting people just walk all over you. I thought it was showing weakness. But my grandmother showed me that it was strength. There's a quiet strength that meekness gives you. And so I was just excited to learn that and appreciate it as I became an adult because you all know I was let's go. And so as I matured to learn that I could still get my point across, I could still share my mind, I could still use my voice without yelling and screaming, without hollering and being ready to fight was a great lesson to learn. So I'm grateful to my grandmother. Happy birthday, Grandma. And to those celebrating birthdays today, happy birthday to you. I almost sang it, but I don't want to run you off this morning. Last week, we were talking about the attitude of gratitude, and I'm grateful to you so that we can learn it together. There were some things I needed to share and get off my heart so that I would not take them for granted. And having an attitude of gratitude allows you to appreciate what you have in your life, even if it's not exactly what you want right now, even if it's not the way that you want it or it's coming through the person you might have chosen for it to come through. But there's some definite things to be grateful for in your life, just life itself. Even if it's not outlined the way you want, you're not living what you want to live, it's not the dream that you would have, still be grateful for it. So many people wish they had your life right now. And when you hear some of the struggles and storms people are going through, trust me, you become very, very grateful for your life. So, that was last week. Continue to be grateful. Remember, you were supposed to write down your list of 10 things that you're grateful for, put them up on the wall and just look at them. You know, I have my in the background, my gratitude jar. I just had a plastic container that I cut a hole in the top of, and I write down things that I'm grateful for and I put it in the slot. And actually, I've been sleeping on that. So I need to go back, continue it. So that way I can continue those moments, you know, that you're sad or down or you feel like life isn't going the way you want it to or things are not lining up. Then you can go back to that container, open it up, and pull out 1 or 10 of those messages and read them and like, oh wow, God did this. See, it's not just I'm thankful, thank you Lord, thank you for life. I put the date and I put specific things in there. I also have a gratitude journal that's over there by my bed that I write down things I'm grateful for, specific things. So that way, when I'm going or I'm caught up or I'm just complaining and murmuring, you know how we get, because I'm definitely one, oh, why do I have to wake up this time of morning? Why do I have to go here? Why do I have to be there? Why do I have to do that? I get into those moments because sometimes I just want to lay down and sleep, but you can't be great sleeping all day. Just like you can't be great working all day. You got to have a balance. So when I have those moments when I'm like, oh, I just want to lay down a few more minutes. I just want to skip today. I just want to tap out today. I remember a time I didn't even have the opportunity to do those things. And it centers me. It brings me right back to, hey, you need to be doing this right now because you prayed for this. Speaking of praying and purpose, we are going to begin what is called the process series. God gave me this process. This was last week before Attitude of Gratitude, but I had to shift it because God really downloaded last Sunday. The process series is looking at purpose, looking at success, looking at victory, looking at the reason you're here. In the process series, we're going to look at the life of Joseph. There are a lot of lessons to learn in his life, but God has given me some specific areas of his life, some specific scripture he wants us to go through in order to help you know you were made for this. You were called for this. You were anointed for this. You were appointed for this. There are moments in your life where you're asking yourself, why me? And it's not the why me that God has forgotten about you. It's the why am I struggling so hard? Why am I pushing so hard? Why are people pushing me? Why are people saying that I should be this? Why are people thinking that I should, be on stage singing? Yeah, I have a good voice, but maybe I just don't feel like I'm the next Aretha Franklin. You're not. You're you. You have a gifting and an anointing that's unlike anybody else. So even if it seems as if it's similar to another person's, please be assured that your gift is yours and yours alone. You were called to do a thing, and there may be 100 people who are doing what you're doing. No one can do it like you do. There are some patterns and there are some formulas to living in your purpose, living in your greatness, living your life of genius, your zone of genius. There are some patterns, but just because someone has done it before you doesn't mean that you are going to absolutely walk in their footsteps. There are thank you, Holy Spirit. Blueprints. And in those blueprints, you take what's good for you and you release what's not good for you. We talk about eating the meat and spitting out the bone. What that means is all information may not be necessary for you, but you need some information to go forward. So in this season, there's a lot of greatness happening. God is just like tearing off rules off people's lives, off of prayer requests. You've been praying for 40 years, and God has just ripped the roof off and said, go for it. This is a season of faith. If 2020 taught you nothing, it should have taught you to live in purpose, and to live in abundance. That should be your goal. Well, how do I do that? What steps do I take to believe? What steps do I take in order to walk in abundance? What steps do I take? Can I just be honest with you? I've prayed for success for a long time, but my reasoning was wrong. My reason was I want success so I could be wealthy. That was it. That was my reason. I'm being honest with you this morning because I need you to understand that a shift happens when you are in the right position. So my whole goal was just to be wealthy. I wanted to rub elbows with celebrities, the who's who, the rich and famous. That's what I wanted. I just wanted to be in. But as life started happening and storms started coming up, I had to change my mindset to what is really my purpose. Well, God began revealing my purpose when I prayed and asked for, no, I can't even say asked for insight. When I asked God, what is my purpose? God began revealing what my purpose was. I still don't think I fully know my purpose, but I knew the steps, or I know the steps I need to be walking into. I have a deliverance spirit. My spirit of deliverance comes in the form of healing. I want to heal people from past trauma. I want to heal people from present trauma. I want to heal people from feeling that they don't matter, that they have no voice, that life is just this thing to live and then you die. I want people to manifest their dreams and their destiny and their purpose. Everything I do, no matter what area and arena it's in, it has to do with healing you from the thoughts that you have about yourself, from words people have spoken over you, so that you can achieve your purpose. In your purpose is your success. And so God showed me in 2020 the areas I needed to be healed from. That doesn't mean that I'm fully healed. I want you to understand that healing is a process. It is a daily process. It's a weekly process, a monthly process, a seasonal process, a yearly, an annual process. You should take stock of your feelings, of who you feel you are, things that happen to you, because you are constantly changing. Just like if you look at the life of a tree, as it goes into the ground as a seed and it begins growing, it always changes. There are always differences. There are different birds that may live in it. Sometimes there may be a nest, maybe not a nest. Sometimes there's a squirrel that lives in it. Sometimes it's full leaves. Sometimes needles fall out of it. I want you to know that as life happens to you and as you live life, you change. And as you change, you need to take stock of the changes that happen to you, because you're not the same person you were 10 years ago. You're not the same person you were 10 months ago, 10 weeks ago, 10 days ago. You are different and you are ever changing. So, in this process of healing, you have to understand that there may be residue, there may be remnant of something you thought you were healed from, but it's still holding you. I found out last week I still had some fear that I had buried. I had fear of loss. See, I went through homelessness in life, and not only homelessness, I went through eviction in my life. Not just one, not just two. And in those evictions, I lost things. So now I hold on to things because I'm so fearful of losing them. I lost plays that I had written in notebooks. Well, guess what happened? I no longer write my plays in notebooks. Now, it sounds like, oh, that's great. You put them on a computer, but see, there's a small piece of fear there. There's a fear that if I write it in a notebook, I'm going to lose my notebooks again. There's a fear of I can't move forward because just when I began to dream, just when began to believe what God said about me, I went through homelessness. I went through eviction. So I'm scared to live a little bit. I kind of want to hold on to things just to make sure we're okay. I had to address my fears, fear of losing information because I've had a computer that I loved immensely that crashed on me. And so I'm like, I just want to leave my laptop where it is. I want to take notebook and pen with me to just write information. And then when I come to the house, then I can release that information. See, there's fear there, but I had to acknowledge it and address it so that it can be removed by God. See, I can't release fear. God has to work with me to do that. I can't do it by myself. However, the more faith I have in a thing, the less fear of a thing I have. So the more I believe that God is going to deliver me, the more I believe that God is going to release me, the more I believe that God is trustworthy, He's not like man, the more I propel into purpose, the more I get forward and push forward and move forward. So today, as we talk about the process to purpose, the process to you realizing your dreams, goals, and ambition, the process to you being better, to being the best, to being greater, to being the greatest, to living in your zone of genius, ripping off the mask we wear with God, the mask we wear with other people, and the mask we even wear with ourselves. Because we think we're good, we think we have it going on, but there's some areas that are hidden way back, way in the back that need to come to the forefront so you can be healed from them. My goal is to help you be the best you that you can be and to walk into your purpose. My goal is to help you to heal. I empower you to believe in the power of you, the power that's already inside of you, that people tried to throw mud on, that people tried to rip out of you, that people tried to talk you out of. That is my mission. Think about your why. And this is all a part of the process. Think about your why. What is your why to be the best you? What is your why to be successful? What is your why? See, I had to go back and revisit my why. Because remember, my why was selfish. My why was I just want to be wealthy and rub elbows with the rich and famous and for them to know my name. And I can call them up on the phone and say, hey, let's fly out to Brazil. Hey, let's have a shopping trip. That was my why. That was it. I didn't care about anybody else. That was my why. I grew up in an affluent family. So I just wanted the tradition to continue, but I wanted to be even wealthier. I wanted to have more so that way I could just jet set around the world and not do anything for real. And then God took me off that high horse of selfishness. I wasn't thinking about anybody else. There's nothing wrong with wanting to be successful and having wealth. But that was it. That was my end all be all. I wasn't trying to help other people. I wasn't trying to help my family. I wasn't trying to help myself. I just wanted to live life without responsibility. So after I went through storm after storm after storm after struggle, I had to revisit my why. Yeah, I still want to be wealthy. I want to be healthy in my right mind. I want to jet set around the world. But my why is different now. It's not just to rub elbows. It actually isn't even to rub elbows. If that happens, so be it. But my why is to take myself out of the poverty mindset, to take my lineage, my family line, my posterity out of what I've opened the door to. My choices and decisions brought us into poverty. Remember, I didn't grow up in it, but I opened the door to it. And now I'm opening the door to sweep it out, get rid of it, pull it up by the root. Poverty, you can't live here. I can no longer have a fear mindset of poverty. I can no longer have a mindset of eviction or homelessness or losing. All of that has to be changed. My why is to have generational wealth for my family so they understand that they can be their own boss, that they can walk in purpose, that they don't have to just get a 9 to 5 to make it, but they can be their own bosses and open up whatever it is their desire is in this earth, that they would manage what God has for them to manage, that they don't wait until their 40s to get it together, that they're born in there together. My why is to see lives changed and lives saved. They may not scream out Jesus, but at least let my life and my light so shine that they know that because of Jesus, because of my belief, because of my love of the Father, that they too can mirror it. They too have a role model to look at, one that they can believe in, not because of her, but because of the God on the inside of me. My why is to create a safe space for single mothers, a space where they can go and leave their children for a while and be pampered and understand that they may be going through a rough patch, a hard time, but they still can live and believe. My why is to teach people how to self-care, because if you don't prioritize yourself, number one, nobody will prioritize you. And number two, you'll empty yourself out and have nothing poured into you. So you'll have nothing left to give to anyone else. My why is to heal people, to help them go from voicelessness to having their voices realized and reestablished, for them to feel powerful, for them to understand they have a purpose, for them to understand they matter and they're necessary. See, my whys have changed. I no longer want wealth and to bury it. like the man with the talent who received one talent and he buried it. No, no, no. I'd rather be like the man with the 5 talents that had avenues. And in that avenues, I can help you. I can build buildings. I can have a production company that brings you hours of relief and release and healing, that I can have areas of land that I can say, here, you go build your house here, you build your dream here, where I can give money to shelters, that they're shelters for families, shelters for single women, but they're not where you feel unsafe. They're secure. There's not 20,000 people in it where there's 10 people and they get everything they need. See, I want to have wealth so that I can progress and press forward the kingdom of God, where he says, love one another, care about your neighbor, have a respect for people. See, that's where my why has changed. Now I understand burying wealth in the bank and jet setting across the world. Oh, I want to do that. But as I jet set, I want to speak God. I want to speak deliverance. I want to speak healing. I want to speak living in abundance. I want to show you how. I want to tell my story, but I also want to show my story of how we can do this. And I get excited because my purpose has been remastered. You know how sometimes you have a song in the studio and it's good, but then a remastering happens and it becomes great. My life, it was good. Growing up was good. I can't complain about what I grew up in. But now it's remastered and I want it to be great. I want it to be the greatest. I want it to be the best. And that's living not for myself, in myself. It's living for God and his purpose for me, which is he created me to not only be a worshiper, but to be a healer, someone that helps deliver, someone that points back to God, that doesn't forget what she's been through and what she's been through and where she's come from. And remember that if it had not been for God who was on my side, I wouldn't be where I am. And to show it with not just talking, but to show it with the life that I live. My why. Know your why. It's important. Your why will help you to keep going. In those mornings you don't want to get up, those mornings you don't want to be bothered, those afternoons when you have so much going on, those evenings when you have poured out all the steam you think that you have poured out, you can press forward. Andrea, why should I push? Why should I press? Because God has a bigger purpose for you. Even if your purpose is to work a 9 to 5, I need you to hear that, because that's a purpose also. If everybody owned businesses, there would be no employees, there would be no volunteers, there would be no people to help you manifest. So please don't look down on a 9 to 5. And if I've ever made it appear that a 9 to 5 is not important, please forgive me. That is not my intent. On your 9 to 5, your purpose could be to light. Maybe if you weren't there, that business wouldn't prosper. Maybe if you weren't there, there would be people who were forgotten about. There would be people who didn't receive a hug or a smile or love that day. Maybe you are the light in their life. Maybe they're watching you and knowing the things that you're going through, and now they know that they can now move forward in their life. They can prosper. They can push forward because of you. So why push? Why press? Because God has purpose for you. He has more for you. He has abundance for you. Your life matters. And I want you to take moments this week to revisit your why. See, my why changed from selfishness to selflessness. But in the process, it's still changing, because God is adding more to my why. And I'm just like, ooh, I can't give up. I can't stop. Not only do I have children watching, but I have a family watching. I have friends watching. I have a community watching. I have a sisterhood watching. God is watching. And I don't want to reach heaven and him say, this is all I had for you to do. These are all the lives I wanted you to bless. But your selfishness, your laziness, your procrastination is the reason they now have to wait for someone else to rise up. And some of them are going to miss it because you missed the mark. That matters to me because when I get to heaven, I want God to say, well done, my good and faithful servant. Well, if I'm not doing what God had for me to do, I'm not being a good servant and I'm not being faithful. See, God talks about being faithful over a few things. That doesn't mean just the blessings that you can touch, but what about the giftings He's poured into you? You're a singer. I know you don't want to sing all the time, but your voice means something to someone. God wouldn't have given it to you. What I've learned, God doesn't waste gifts. We may not want to be a multi-platinum singer, but God has placed a voice inside of you, not just for you, not just for you to know, oh, I can sing and let me throw it away, but let me sing because someone needs to hear my voice. It brings comfort, it brings healing, it encourages. I often wonder, God, why do you give us multi gifts, a multitude of gifts? He wants us to use them. It's just like talents. See, in the Bible, the talents were money. Here, your talents are your giftings, whether it's money, or you being a great artist, or you being a great poet, or you being able to coordinate and put designs together, your gifts. We keep talking about our gifts make room for us, yet we sit on our gifts. Speaking is a gift for me. Writing is a gift for me. Encouraging is a gift. Teaching is a gift. Sharing the word of God is a gift. I had to learn that in gifts, sometimes they are not convenient. You think that every morning, every Sunday, I want to wake up at the crack of dawn at dark 30 to prepare to speak? No. There are mornings, and you've seen it in my inconsistency in the past, where I didn't want to wake up, where I had 13 things on my plate that I'd rather do. But I realized if you be faithful over a few things, God will make you master over much. I can't talk about wanting to heal people and bring them to purpose if I won't do what God asked me to do with the small things. Getting up and speaking to you is preparing me and propelling me for when God sends me to the masses. I need you to think like that. The exercises and activities you are doing now, this is your preparation. This is not the end all be all. And some of us get tripped up because we're like, is this it? Is this my lot in life? Is this all I'm going to attain? But what you don't understand is God is preparing you. How are you going to be the next Aretha Franklin? Which, again, I told you you're going to be who you are, but I'm using her as for context. If you're not practicing your vocal skills, if you're not singing to your best friend or your family at the family reunion or in church or at an activity or an event when people ask you to use your voice, how are you going to walk into your destiny if it's dusty in the corner? I need you to realize some things this week. First of all, what is your purpose? What drives you? What inspires you? What are you passionate about? I know what I am. I know what impassions me. I know what makes me cry. I know what makes me push and press. So then when you know your purpose or a part of your purpose or one of the areas of your purpose, then can I ask you what your why is? Why? Why press? Why push? Why move forward in it? Why go forward? And then I need you to look at you. Lord, reveal to me what areas of life I'm holding hurt. I'm holding pain. I'm holding those words, those actions. And then ask God to help you to release them and forgive them so you can move on in healing. As you move on in healing, you can walk further into purpose. Ask Him to show you your fear. We know God is not the one that gives us fear. We understand that. I get it. But it exists. And I need people to stop brushing it under the carpet. God doesn't give us a spirit of fear. He doesn't give it. But that doesn't mean it does not exist. And if God didn't give you the spirit of fear, guess what? He can help you remove it. Even if He gave it, He can help you remove it. But it's up to you to believe and to trust and to surrender and to be vulnerable. And on that, Genesis 37. I'm going to read it out of, I believe, NIV. I'm so full of God right now. I could just, I'm trying to stay focused. Yes, the NIV version, Genesis 37. This is the process series. So we're going to walk in step in Joseph's life, not in everything, but what God has spotlighted for me to speak to you and myself so that we can move forward in purpose. Step one today is the purpose. See how it all ties in together? God does not lie. God does not cause confusion. Everything I discuss today has to do with the purpose. Jacob lived in the land where his father had stayed, the land of Canaan. This is the account of Jacob's family line. Joseph, a young man of 17, was tending the flocks with his brothers, the sons of Bilhah and the sons of Zilpah, his father's wives. And he brought their father a bad report about them. Now Israel loved Joseph more than any of his other sons because he had been born to him in his old age, and he made an ornate robe for him. When his brothers saw that their father loved him more than any of them, they hated him and could not speak a kind word to him. So I want you to think back to your growing up, to what it was like. And if you're a young person, what's your life like now? If you're an older person, what was your life like? And I want you to keep that in mind as we go through the purpose. Were you favored or were you shunned? Shunned. Were you given great lavish gifts? Did you receive nothing? Were you given attention and affection growing up? Or did you never hear, I love you? Or was there a rare hug from your parents? Were you raised by your parents? Did you have both parents? I want you to remember your growing up. This is how we start this story. So Joseph is favored, right? Joseph is beloved by his father because he was born to him in his old age. And if we're going to be honest, right? Joseph was born, his mother was Rachel. And we know that Jacob loved Rachel, loved her, loved her. And at a point, Rachel was unable to have children, right? But God opened her womb and Joseph was born. I want you to go back in Genesis and read the story of Jacob and how Jacob loved Rachel so much, he agreed to work 7 years for her. And after 7 years, he was tricked into marrying Leah. And him marrying Leah, he had to work another 7 years in order that he might get Rachel, who was the love of his life. Joseph was born of his favored wife. I want you to be clear about that. And so not only was Joseph born in Jacob's old age, Joseph was born to his father's favorite. Okay. So I want you to keep that in mind as we go through this. So because Joseph was favored by his father Israel, remember, God changed Jacob's name to Israel. They had a whole battle in the wilderness. And in order for the angel, Jacob said, I will not loose you until you bless me. And the angel hit him in his hip. And his name was changed to Israel because he would be father of many, right? Well, we know Abraham was father of nations, but out of Jacob would come a bloodline of Israel. And so I say that his name was changed. He was favored. He favored Joseph. Because he favored Joseph, he did something for Joseph he didn't do for Joseph's brothers. That was to give him a coat of beauty. It was a colorful coat, and it just symbolized, I really love you. And I haven't done this for anybody else in your siblings. I haven't done it. I've only done it for you. I favor you. Parents, be very careful of favoring your children. One day it can come and bite you. It can, because I remember my aunts, I was raised also by my great aunts and uncles. And I remember them saying, the one you favor will be the one that disappoints you the most. And so be careful, be very careful of having favorites and showing favoritism. Don't you know it's the ones you favor that'll be the ones that turn their back on you? This is just practical. This is not biblical. But it's very interesting to me that the ones that feel left out, the ones that feel like dirt has been kicked on them, the ones that feel like they haven't been appreciated are the ones that come back and take care of their parents. Meanwhile, the favorite is the one that disappoints the parents and goes forward and moves on in life and forgets about the parent. Doesn't happen every time. It's very interesting that I've seen it many times. Okay. So that was just a practical thing. Be careful, be mindful of favoring your children. They should all be your favorites. All my children are my favorites. I have an oldest, I have a son, and then I have a youngest. And so they're all my favorites for different contexts. And just like I love them so much, they also anger me at times. And I let them know, see, there's a balance to this thing. And so be mindful of not favoring a child. All three of my children say each one of them say that they're my favorite. And I just look at them like, you're all my favorites. Anyway, moving on. So Joseph is recipient to this coat of multicolors and bright, and he's excited and enthused. And so he's living his life as the favorite. His brothers work out in the field, but Joseph is learned. He is one that stays close to his father. He teaches him the way of the world. He's not out working in the fields with his brothers. So they already feel some type of way. But Joseph receives his purpose early in life. He just doesn't understand it. How many of you have received your purpose, but you don't even understand what it is? You received it at a time when you were young, or a time when you were inexperienced, or a time when you couldn't focus on it, but you didn't even understand. That's why I want you to go back into your thinking of where you grew up, how you grew up, because there are times where God has already spoken your purpose. At 15, I received the word from God. I didn't know it was God. I had just listened to Jesus, How I Love Calling Your Name. I Love Calling Your Name by Shirley Caesar. When I heard a voice say, you will be a minister. I was like, first of all, what voice is that? And then I was like, oh no, I see pastors. Well, I didn't call them pastors back then. I see reverends. I see preachers. They preach the word. I don't want to do that. I want to go and have parties. I want to go and drink. I want to go and be fancy free, footloose and fancy free. That was my whole thing. And I ran from the call. What I didn't understand was God was going to bring me back to minister the word. But in that, he said, feed my sheep. My whole ministry is based on that scripture. Feed my sheep, feed my lamb, feed my sheep. See, sometimes we think being ministers of the word, of the gospel, means we have to do what I'm doing right now. And that's teaching and preaching the word, or standing in a pulpit and having a church. But see, for me, God has placed me in the masses. He's placed me in the fields. He's placed me in the world. So everything I do needs to minister his word, the good news, to the world. So in my plays, in my movies, in my TV shows, in my books, in podcasts, in lives, everywhere I go, I need to minister the word. That's my purpose. We talked about it earlier. Healing, encouraging, and I just said encouraging, being compassionate, understanding what people go through and why they may not trust and why they may not want to be vulnerable, because I've been there. So I can have a compassionate heart where there are people who haven't suffered, people who haven't gone through. And when they say something to people, they're like, the people don't receive them because they're like, you don't even understand. You're hard handed, you're pushing and pulling, but I don't see any compassion in you. Don't you know you receive people receive you with honey, not vinegar? And I've had to say that over and over. There are people who have all they have is tough love. All they have is judgment. All they have is, yeah, I went through it, but I got over it. So you get over it. People don't receive that. People receive love and kindness. In the fruit of the Spirit, you don't see anything about tough love. You don't see anything about hard heartedness. You don't see anything about just pick your butt up and go. We're supposed to minister. First of all, we're supposed to have, and then we're supposed to show, and then we're supposed to minister, to teach the fruit of the Spirit. If you're not showing love, if you're not showing joy, if you're not showing patience, meekness, gentleness, faithfulness, long suffering, okay, that is patience. If you're not showing willpower, peace, thank you, Holy Spirit, joy, did I say? Then you're really not walking into the fruit of the Spirit, and the Spirit's supposed to dwell within you. I don't know who that's for, but I need you to revisit the fruit of the Spirit. You're trying to have people listen to you and receive you, and they can't, because all you can tell them is the toughness of life doesn't matter, that they should get over their wounds, lick themselves, get over it, and get back onto the field, where people need a hug, where people need compassion, where people need to feel that you understand what they're going through and they're not judged because they have a weak moment or a weak week or a weak month. But you be there anyway to keep pushing them. But don't push them, push them. So Joseph has a dream. And that brings me to the first point, the dream. God gives you a vision sometimes. God gives you his voice. God gives you a vision, a billboard, a commercial, a passion, tears, sorrow, joy. He gives you some kind of inkling for what he wants you to do for his life. I remember my mother telling me when she was 5, she knew her purpose. She wanted to heal people in the natural. So being a nurse was her calling at 5. What is that thing? See, Joseph has this dream, and let's talk about it. Joseph had a dream, and when he told it to his brothers, they hated him all the more. They already hated him. You're already favored him. But this dream, oh boy, what is the dream, you ask? He said to them, listen to this dream I had. We were binding sheaves of grain out in the field when suddenly my sheaf rose and stood upright, while your sheaves gathered around mine and bowed down to it. His brothers said to him, do you intend to reign over us? Will you actually rule us? And they hated him all the more because of his dream and what he had said. Number one, Joseph had a dream doing something he doesn't do in the natural. He doesn't work out in the field with his brothers. So now in his dream, he's somewhere that he's not really. And while he's there, his sheaves stand up and his brother's sheaves bow down. They already don't like him. He's favored by their father, and their father doesn't hide it. He doesn't have to do the work, the manual labor that they're doing, that he gets to sit on his duff and read books and learn and be scholarly. And then you have this coat that none of us got. And you're probably, you know how we get something that we like, that we appreciate, we rock it, we wear it. So he's probably walking all around with this bright colored coat, that's reminding them, oh my gosh, look at what dad gave him. Look at it. Look at it. And now he has this dream. And in this dream, basically, it's saying they're going to serve him. They're going to bow down to him. He's going to rule over them. When God gives you your dream, your vision, your purpose, your calling, your assignment, don't be afraid of the mad faces. Don't be afraid of walking into it, because there are going to be people that are not going to like you because of your purpose. Some of us are scared of our purpose because it's big. Let's be clear. It's not terrifying in it of itself. But there are those of us who put down our purpose because we don't want to rock the boat. We don't want people to look at us like, didn't you come from the projects? Didn't you come from the Lower East Side? Didn't you come from the slums of? Weren't you homeless? Didn't y'all live in a car? And we're scared that people are going to look at us like, who are you? Who are you to think that you can do what you think you can do? Who are you? And how dare you think you can? Some of us don't want to rock the boat because people in our family may not have the purpose we have. And we feel that because we've heard that we aren't as good as, that we don't have the brain power, the knowledge, the fortitude, the courage. We didn't go to school. We didn't graduate. We didn't have the big paying jobs. That maybe this purpose really isn't for us because our family member is the bright light in the family. They've always gotten and they've always received, and things always work for their good. Things work well for them. And so maybe our purpose, maybe it's not us. We don't want to rock the boat or make people jealous or make people envious or make people feel a type of way because we've gotten used to the scraps. Don't be afraid of people in their faces or what they'll say or how they treat you. God designed you for this. And if you don't walk into your purpose, there are going to be millions of people that miss out, because what you do is important for someone else's livelihood, for their life, for their family, for their future. So you can't look at people in their faces, in their words, in their attitudes. You have to keep rising into your purpose regardless. God chose you. He purposed you. He brought you here. And if you're not going to walk into your purpose, then why should he keep you here? Be mindful that the life you might be saving is not just others, but it might be yours. Your life may be cut short because you refuse to walk into the purpose that God has given you. Now, let us continue. Verse 9. Then Joseph had another dream, and he told it to his brothers. So it wasn't good enough that he had one dream. God said, okay, let me give it to you in another way because I really need you to see how big this dream is. Listen, he said, I had another dream, and this time the sun and moon and 11 stars were bowing down to me. When he told his father, as well as his brothers, his father rebuked him and said, what is this dream you had? Will your mother and I and your brothers actually come and bow down to the ground before you? His brothers were jealous of him, but his father kept the matter in mind, the doubt. So we had the dream, and we read verses 5 through 8 and discussed the dream. But here's a second dream, but here comes the doubt. His father favored him. His father uplifted him. His father poured sunshine and blessings upon him until it became a matter of now, Dad, not only will my brothers bow down to me in the dream, but you and mom will too. It becomes interesting when your family can uplift you until you're lifted higher than them. There are some parents that want the best for their child as long as the best is not better than what they're doing. There are some parents who say, yeah, I want you to have the best in life, but I'm not going to open the door to you having the best. And what they say is, I want you to work hard for it. That's interesting because I understand as a parent, you work hard for what you have. And you don't want your children to take it for granted. You want them to appreciate it. You want them to learn work. But you can still open up some doors. You still can allow some things. Like parents, and I'm not judging, but this is just revelatory for you and for me, that kick their kids out unprepared. I understand, trust me, that you want your house back. You want to be free. And you want your children to learn responsibility. But how responsible is it to push them out before they're ready? God doesn't push us out before we're ready. It's up to us to prepare. So when he brings the opportunity, we're ready to walk into it. Now it's on us. If we don't prepare and the opportunity comes and we're not ready to walk through the door, that's on us. But God always gives us an opportunity to prepare. He doesn't just push you and it's done. And so I question sometimes when a parent says, I want the best for my child, but I kick them out and lock the door and let them know they can never come back. There's some children who thrive in that. But there are other children who falter and fall and fail. And so we want the best for our children. That means that there are going to be times that we have to sacrifice. I understand that food bill is astronomical. I have 3. In case you didn't remember, I have 3. How many ways can you do 3? Children. So I understand. Your electricity bill is high because they don't go to bed anymore. They stay up watching TV, playing video games, on social media. I get it. I get that, they're inviting their friends over, so you have a house full. I understand that washing clothes is like, it takes hours and days sometimes because I understand. But being a parent means sacrificing. And I know you're like 18, I'm done, I'm through, it's over. But you want the best for your child. Sometimes that means having a fund for them not only for college, but so they can buy their first car, so they can afford their first home. Sometimes that sacrifice means allowing them to stay with you a little longer so that they can be prepared. So when they leave, they're left, they're gone. They don't have to come back because you've prepared them to make their way in the world. See, Jacob was great. Israel was great with Joseph until the dream included him bowing down to his son. See, Jacob was like, I've been through some stuff already. I have favor with God. He changed my name. He blessed my lineage. He gave me an inheritance. So, what you're saying now is, I'm esteemed in God, but you want me to bow down to you? Interesting. But see, people are upset at Joseph's dreams. This is what gets me. This is Joseph's dream. He never said, oh, by the way, when I turn 30, I need y'all to bow down to me. I need y'all to worship me. I need you to work for me. I need to rule over you. He said, God gave me a dream. Don't you realize that there are people who hear what you say and they know the truth behind it more than you do? You might say, oh, I love this thing. This makes me cry. I'm passionate about this. I feel like, and people are looking at you sideways, not because you're talking about it, because they see the truth in it. There are people who believe in you harder than you do, but it's not for good. They see the power in you. They see the purpose in you. They see your gifts. They see your skill. They see your talent, and they're hating it. They're hating on it because they realize that if you were to realize your power and your strength, you would walk into it and that would take the shine off them. That would show them, wait a minute. I've been like this, but now as they begin to see who they are, roles are going to reverse and they become hateful, envious, and jealous. So what do? They begin talking down to you. They begin criticizing you. They begin scorning you because they don't want you to be successful. They don't want you to walk in purpose. They don't want you to achieve your goal. You're good as long as you're here. Oh, yeah. Oh, let me pity you. Oh, poo poo, you don't have. Oh, but I'm living this lavish style. I'm living this lavish life. I'm living la vida loca. Oh, it's crazy over here. Oh, let me tell you about the stories. Oh, you just stay down there. Let me throw a few scraps at you. Oh, I'm sorry. But when God begins raising you up, when God begins pouring into you, when God begins building you up, when God reveals your purpose and he's opening doors and opportunities are happening, this starts happening. There becomes a shift. And now they're like, whoa, whoa, wait, not even there. Here. Hey, get back, down to where you were. But God is building you. And now they can't handle it. Now they're saying, oh no, you're on my level. You were good as long as I could laugh at you or look down at you, or I can throw some scraps to help you out, just to let you know your place. As long as you play your position underneath me, we're good. But as you start believing and achieving and walking in things, there are people in your life that can't handle it because they based their success on your failure. Yeah, you heard me. They base their success on your failure. They feel big when you feel small. They feel accomplished when you are unaccomplished. As long as you stay low and lowly and needy, that's where they gain confidence, and comfort. I'm over time, but I just need a few more minutes. So now we understand that Joseph's brothers are with him, heated, they're done. Now his father is like, oh, okay, hold on, sir. But what I like is in this part before we move forward, but he kept the matter in mind. See, Jacob knows God. He knows the majesty of God. He knows God's power. He knows God's ability. So even though he might not like it, he was like, but God doesn't lie. So what is God saying? There's something to this for Joseph to have this dream or these dreams. So he keeps the matter in mind. He doesn't say any more about it. Now, we're going to jump down because I want to talk about the deal. See, this all has to do with your purpose. God giving you a dream, God bringing people bringing the doubt. I apologize, Lord. I know you allow it, but the people brought the doubt. So you have this vision of what you want to do in life. You have this goal. You know what you want to accomplish. And here come the dream killers. I've been talking about them all week. The ones that tell you can't, the ones who say, how dare you? Do you know where you come from? Do you know what you did in your past? Do you know this is why you have to be released from your past? So when they start bringing them bones and stuff, you can be like, oh, those skeletons are burned. Those roots are pulled up. Thank you for the reminder, but I'm a new creature in Christ. Thanks. So here comes the deal. Let's jump down to verse 17. They have moved on from here, the man answered. I heard them say, let's go to Dothan. So Joseph went after his brothers and found them near Dothan. But when they saw him in the distance, and before he reached them, they plotted to kill him. Look at this. This is your brother. Oh, yeah, he's favored, but he is not acting like a spoiled brat. He's living the life that his father is giving to him. They hate him enough to want to kill him. There are people in your life, they are not only dream killers. If they could get away with snuffing you out, they would. Here comes the dreamer, they said to each other, because that really got them incited. That really has them incensed. That really has them angry, peeved, perturbed. Here comes the dreamer, they said to each other. Come now, let's kill him and throw him into one of these cisterns and say that a ferocious animal devoured him. And then we'll see what comes of his dreams. When Reuben heard this, he tried to rescue him from their hands. Let's not take his life, he said. Don't shed any blood. Throw him into this cistern here in the wilderness, but don't lay a hand on him. Reuben said this to rescue him from them and take him back to his father. He had one person, one out of the 11, one that fought for him, one. You may have that one person still doesn't like what you do, but they're like, oh, okay, let's believe what they say. Let's give them some help. Let's try. We don't have to big them up. We don't have to post their things on social media, but we're not going to down them either. We're not going to talk behind their backs. We're not going to tell you what they did in their past life. We're not going to post them, though. We're not going to support them in front of the world, but we're not going to denigrate them either. You have those people in your life as well. So when Joseph, about to say Jacob, came to his brothers, they stripped him of his robe, the ornate robe he was wearing. The first thing they want to do is take off the evidence of their father's love. They wanted him uncovered. Immediately, before they could even knock him out, tie him up, anything that they were going to do with him, they stripped him of his covering. How many people plot against you? And the first thing they do is knock down your belief in yourself. They knock down your value to yourself. They silence you. They take your voice away. You have this dream, this goal, this desire, this purpose. The first thing they do to you is shut you down, shut you up. You don't matter. You can't do it. Shut up. You have no voice. You won't make it. You can't make it. You're not smart enough. You're not pretty enough. You're not wise enough. You don't have the education. You didn't graduate. You're nothing because your mother was nothing. You're nothing because you had a crack addiction. How many people try to strip you of your power as soon as you try to walk in your purpose? And they took him and threw him into the cistern. The cistern was empty. There was no water in it. It's a pit. And usually these kind of pits have water in them, but this one just happens to be empty. As they sat down to eat their meal, now they have him in this pit. He's just down there, and now they're eating. This is your enemies, your haters. And I'm not even talking about people who are not close to you. These are his brothers. I need you to understand there are people that are this close to you that are hating on you. You're trying to produce. You're trying to be productive and prosperous. They won't even help you. They're sitting around at the table plotting against you, plotting against your purpose, plotting against your dream. In your face. Sitting there smacking on their sirloin steak, their prime rib, their leg of lamb. You're not going to make it. We told you before, sit down, shut up, don't walk in your gifting. That's them. I would love to say your haters are enemies, far removed. Unfortunately, a lot of your haters are this close to you. And they make haters of others by talking about you. You know, when she was 6, she did this. You know, when she was 12, she did that. When he was a teenager, he used to do this. Oh, do you know what he said about you? I dislike immensely people who bring me news. I tolerate it, but I dislike it. Oh, you know, so-and-so said this about you. I didn't want to tell you this. Here's my thing. I shouldn't even know about it. If you truly have my back, if you truly are in my corner, you should have knocked it down so I wouldn't even hear about it. So I don't look at that person sideways, because if they're comfortable enough to speak badly about me in your presence, that means they're comfortable in speaking badly about me in your presence. Get that. If they can denigrate me, if they can put me down, if they can talk bad about me, roll their eyes, suck their teeth, and they're comfortable doing it, that means they've done it before. And it could also mean that you were along for the ride. So now I'm looking at you. One thing people can't say to somebody that's close to me, even if I'm angry and upset about them, even if I may complain about them, you bet not better not, you bet not raise your voice against them. Because I'm going to stop you right in your tracks. Hold up, partner. Nah. See, if I'm saying something to you, I've already said it to them. I had to grow up to become that person. Because I used to complain about people behind their backs because I didn't like conflict. But here's the thing. Those that are close to me, there's a reason they're close to me. That means I can talk to them now. I can say what I have to say. Be mindful of people that run tell that and come to you. The same way they gossip to you about other people or talk badly about other people to you is the same way when they leave your presence, they go to someone else to talk about you. My thing is this: when it starts getting ugly and filthy, have you said that to them? Did you let them know? Did you address it with them? That's one of my the top question. And then after that, I said, well, maybe we can talk about it to each other. Let's all 3 get on the phone, or all 4, or all 10, however. Let's get on the phone. Let's talk about it. And they're like, oh, no, I'll talk to them. Okay, well, then we're done with conversation, because I'm not staying on the phone for you to put down someone I care about. I'm not going to stay in your presence for you to talk smack about somebody that I care about. That's not going to be a thing for me. I don't care if all three of us are friends. Ooh, Andrea gets on my nerves. Okay, well, why does she get on your nerves? Because she does this, this, and this. You better be saying, well, did you tell her that? Don't come and be like, oh, let me tell you, I was with so and so, our girl, and she said, I'm gonna look at you like this. I'm building empires, dynasty, bumping empire. I'm building a dynasty. That's what you're supposed to be doing too, right? But you got time to gossip and what she said, he said, she said, they said, wait, what? That's what we doing as adults. But I digress. But that was for somebody. Be mindful. I am. Every time a person does it, I just look at them and I'm like, oh, okay. That's what they said. Okay. Well, yeah. And then I'm moving on. I'm changing the subject. I'm moving on past it. So I don't go back to that place of wanting to say something. But I definitely look at you sideways. As they sat down to eat their meal, they looked up and saw a caravan of Ishmaelites coming from Gilead. Their camels were loaded with spices, balm, and myrrh. I want to say myrrh, myrrh, and they were on their way to take them down to Egypt. Judah said to their brothers, what will we gain if we kill our brother and cover up his blood? Come, let's sell him to the Ishmaelites and not lay our hands on him. After all, he is our brother, our own flesh and blood. His brothers agreed. So when the Midianite merchants came by, his brothers pulled Joseph up out of the cistern and sold him for 20 shekels of silver to the Ishmaelites who took him to Egypt. When Reuben returned to the cistern and saw that Joseph was not there, he tore his clothes. The deal. The deal was, number one, let's kill him. Reuben came in and said, no, let's not do that. Let's not kill our brother. Let's just let him sit down there for a while. Reuben is thinking, I'm going to get him out of the cistern, out of the pit, and bring him home. Tell him to stay with dad and never come out here again because this is a life and death for you, my brother. Reuben had compassion. The brothers are like, okay, well, all right, fine. Reuben leaves, from what I gather, because it says when Reuben returned to the cistern. So that meant Reuben had the intent to rescue his brother, but he left. And he left his brothers in charge. Now, these are the same brothers that wanted to kill him. Here's my thing. When you know the plots and plans and deeds and deals of a person, I'm not going to leave them in charge when I know they may have malice in intentions. When they have malicious intentions, I am not going to leave something in their hand. When I know they have the power to hurt someone or to hurt a thing, that's not who I give the power to. I make sure I'm around. When I know that a friend of mine is hurt and they want to hurt someone, I don't leave them at the point where I know they can hurt that person. When they were going to have vengeance against the person, I'm there to talk them down, and I can't leave you because I know if I leave you, you're going to flatten all four of her tires. I can't leave you in this state. When I know that you have the intent to do something bad, that might not be a time I want to walk away from you. And so, Reuben, my brother, that was not the time to leave when you're the only one who didn't want to kill him. So what happens? They're like, oh, we're leaving him in the pit, but they see merchants coming and they know that merchants buy things. Here's your brother. You're going to sell your brother. How many people, raise your hand, have been sold out by someone close to them? Just sold out. You thought they had your back, but they betrayed you. You thought they cared about you, and they tore you down. You thought they could be trusted, and they couldn't. They sold you out. Thought they had your back. Talked about your business all over Broadway, Main Street, Peachtree. And you sitting here pouring love and affection to them, but they sold you out. You don't even understand until the merchants come in your life that come and tell you, oh no, they sold you. They sold you out. They told me this, this, and the other. And you looking around like, but I called you family. I called you friend. I called you associate. I called you supervisor. I called you educator, principal. You were something to me, worship leader, pastor, and you sold me out. Imagine Joseph not only is hearing them smack down on that leg of lamb, but now he hears them making a deal. Take our brother. He could be a slave in Egypt. You just sold his freedom. How many people, show your hands, have been sold out? Freedom gone because of how someone has betrayed you. They don't even look at you as if you're human. They don't look at you as you have feelings. How do you betray and backstab and hurt a person that you say you claim you love, that matters to you? Look at what they say. He is our brother. After all, he is our brother, our own flesh and blood. But you sold him out. You sold him. You gave away something that didn't belong to you. How are you telling a person's story when it's not your story? How are you making bucks off of something you didn't live? This ain't fiction. You go and tell this person's story because you have nothing to tell of your own, and you are taking away their worth, their ability to gain wealth. Oh, I'm going to tell the story. I'm not talking about a biography. Biography. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about you're using someone else's life, using someone else's story as if it's your own. Oh, yeah. I was big in these streets. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I was. Meanwhile, you sitting in a brownstone with your mother and father going to parochial school. Ain't see a street a day in your life, but you making big bucks off somebody else's story. So now when they come to tell their story, people are like, oh, we heard that. That's so-and-so's life. You just trying to bite off of him. You trying to copy his. And you like, that's my story, my life. You took what belonged to me. That's a violation. I'm not even going to go into other kinds of violation because I don't want to get emotional. And that's not the focus because we're talking about purpose. But you just sold out your brother, your mother, your sister, your best friend. And you good with it. Because after all, that's my brother. That's my own flesh. Wow. The deal. Now let's look at the deed. What happens because of the deal? He went back to his brothers and said, the boy isn't here. Where can I turn now? Reuben's like, I can't go back home. Then they got Joseph's robe, slaughtered a goat, and dipped the robe in blood. They took the ornate robe back to their father and said, we found this. Examine it to see whether it is your son's robe. He recognized it and said, it is my son's robe. Some ferocious animal has devoured him. Joseph has surely been torn to pieces. Then Jacob tore his clothes, put on sackcloth, and mourned for his son many days. All his sons and daughters came to comfort him, but he refused to be comforted. No, he said, I will continue to mourn until I join my son in the grave. So his father wept for him. Meanwhile, the Midianites sold Joseph in Egypt to Potiphar, one of Pharaoh's officials, the captain of the guard. Here's the deed. They sold their boy out, their own flesh and blood, their brother. Now, if that wasn't bad enough, here's the deed. Here's this elaborate plan, this intricate plot of how to tell our father our brother is gone. How many people are plotting against you? Not only have they betrayed you, sold you out, talked about you, denigrated you to your face and behind your back, got the whole world hating you off an untruth, but now they take it a step further because it's easy to get the world to believe bad things about you. But now we got to go to the person who knows you, the people who know your character, the people who trust you. Now we got to go to them and make a deed, plan a deed, plot this out. So now they believe you're gone too. They believe you're untrustworthy also. They believe you're a bad seed. So here comes a whole elaborate scheme. Hey, they're renegades. Don't trust them. They're frauds. They're fraudulent. They can't be trusted. How many people have had plots planned against them that have worked? People believe, those you think are close to you that know you. I remember I used to get upset. They should know me. I need to I need to fight for me. I need to let them know who I am. I need to talk up for myself. I can't have them think about me like this. And God's like, no, you don't do that. One of the hardest things in life for me is when someone says something against me that's not the truth, and God will not allow me to fight the battle. He will not allow me to speak up for myself. He will not allow me to talk to them and give them proof and show them who I am. This has happened so many times in my life that now when it happens, I just roll my eyes because I already know God is not going to let me fight that battle. His thing is this: if people really know you, then they know you. If you have to sit and fight and force and shake, and this is who I am, believe me, they never believed you in the first place. They never believed you, and they never believed in you. You don't have to fight that battle. That's a relationship, a friendship, a business association that you need to cut because they don't know you. And you would rather know it at this point than when I bless you fully and it happens. Because maybe God doesn't want them a part of where he has you going. So he has to show you the true nature of a person in the beginning or in the middle. So you can cut. Oh, it hurts to lose friends. It hurts to lose business opportunities. It hurts to lose associations. It hurts to lose family members. It hurts to lose supporters. But your peace is worth all of that. I remember a time I boo-hoo cried because I was lied on. Not once, not twice. If I could tell you, I probably have been lied on more times than I have fingers. And that's honest. Trying to do the right thing. And because I wouldn't do the wrong thing or go the way of the popular opinion, I was lied on. And people who were close to me believed the lies. It's one thing when the world believes. See, the brother could, okay, that's the world. But you got to come to your father and say to your father, your favored, your favorite, your son who you put above all else, is gone. And they knew in order to do that, they killed a goat, dipped the robe they took off of him, the covering they snatched from him, dipped it in the blood, and came back with the story. Because otherwise, their father would not have accepted. Joseph left. Joseph walked away. People in your life wouldn't accept, oh, they gave up, they stopped, they didn't say this. Da, da, da. So the people have to come up with these big, huge, humongous lies against you, because they know that those who know you wouldn't believe something ordinary. They wouldn't believe something minuscule. They wouldn't believe something small. So they come up with this elaborate stuff and then say, I have receipts. Make up receipts, but I have receipts. And it hurts you. You don't think Joseph was hurt? Devastated. First of all, you took my coat that I loved. Then you threw me into an empty pit. Then I'm hearing you eat and talk about me. And then here comes a group of merchants, and you make a deal against me, your brother. You got the nerve to call me your brother, your own flesh and blood, but you sell me out. You don't think he was hurt? Oh, devastated. But he didn't downgrade them. He didn't fight against them. He didn't plead his case. He was like, let it be. If I fight, if I try to escape, they're going to kill me. And I'm here to tell you that if you fight and put the battle in your hands, they're going to kill you. They're going to kill you, dream killers. That's what they do. I don't mean a physical death, but anytime you try to fight against the lies, the nonsense, the betrayal, they're going to continue to put you down. They're going to continue to call you to the carpet. They're going to continue to have these elaborate plots and plans. They're going to kill your focus, because now instead of you being focused on your purpose and building your dream, you're focused trying to fight for your reputation. You're trying to fight so people will believe you that should already believe in you. Let it burn. Let them go. Let it fly. Those aren't the people that should be connected to you anyway. And it hurts because you love them, because you believed in them, because you supported them, because you put your all into them. You've encouraged them. They've wasted. I mean, you spent time with them. Holy Spirit won't let me stay wasted. And so it hurts. But it's better you know now than later on when you have built up and they tear it down or try to tear it down. There's sometimes these vicious plots and plans have to manifest, have to bring you to a place where you need to be, a place that God has designed for you, a place that God has purposed for you. My enemies hurt me, but those friends, family members, associates that were close to me hurt me more, because I trust you with my heart. And the backstabbing, the front stabbing, the lies, the plans, the deeds, the deals, the plots brought me closer to God. I had to talk to God. I had no one else to talk to. I didn't know who to trust. Their hurt, the hurtful things they did, caused me to get on my knees and cry out to God. That's how our relationship was built. My relationship with God wasn't strong until I went through the pain. When everything was good, I was like, yay, God, thank you, God, hallelujah, God, yay, on with it, on with my life. But it was in my pain and my feelings of resentment and unforgiveness and betrayal and bitterness and just every negative emotion is when I turned to God and said, Lord, if you don't help me, if you don't get that person, if you don't handle this situation, I'm going to jail. One of us is going to be dead, and it ain't going to be me. And I'm telling you honest, I'm being real with you. So you understand, Joseph had these emotions. These were his brothers. He loved his brothers, even if they hated him, even if they were jealous of him, even if they were envious. He loved his brothers. How do I know? Stick around for the process and I'll prove it. I'll prove it to you. People who hurt us, especially when they're close, it could have the power to destroy us. But God, I tell you today to lean on God. Don't lean to your own understanding. Lean to him, pray to him, ask him for his help to help you pass it. I know it hurts. I've gone through it too many times not to be able to tell you to sit here and boldly lie to you and say it doesn't hurt. Oh, it hurts. That's a story I wish I didn't know. But the betrayal, the lies, the backstabbing, the put down, the being talked about by people close to you, oh, it happens. And it's still happening. I would love to say, oh, no, no more. But I know when it's happening, not only because I have a spiritual ear and God allows me to hear things and God shares things with me. I can tell by behaviors. I am a prophet. No, I'm a life coach. I read body language. That's why I'm always watching people. Yeah, I hear what you say, but I'm watching. In this season, you need to watch because people are going to do a lot of yippity, 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 yip, yip, yip. Watch them. Watch to see, do their actions line up with their words? If their actions do not line up with their words, keep the action in mind. I'm not listening to your words. I'm watching your action and your activity. And I know when people are comfortable to say a thing to me, when people are comfortable with doing a thing to me, I know exactly why. Because they're comfortable with doing it with you. So this week, I've given you a couple assignments about purpose. Walk into your purpose. Discover your purpose. Find out those things that incite you, you're passionate about, that hurts you, that you get fired up about. Start with your passions. And then within those passions, what sticks out to you? If you already know your purpose, revisit your purpose. Write it down. Write the vision, make it plain. But this time, instead of putting it in your journal, I want you to hang it on the wall so you can see your purpose or your purposes, your callings, your assignments. Write all of it. Then I want you to discover, rediscover, discover or rediscover your why. Why are you doing this? Why do you want to? Why are you going to walk in purpose? Why are you going to push forward and press? And guess what? I want them in your journal, but I want you to put them up on the wall so you can see your why when you wake up in the morning. Why am I getting up at 6 o'clock? Why am I getting up at 4 o'clock? Why do I have to go to this meeting? Why am I going to this store? Why am I going to this game? Why? Oh, to break generational poverty off my bloodline that I caused. That's why. All right, can't complain. Let's get it. Let's go jump into that hot shower, that warm shower. Wake me up. Wake up. Cold shower, that wakes you up, but make sure you clean. As my mother said, don't you dare use that cold water. You better get clean when I was a kid. And then walk into your purpose. Who are you? Another assignment. Have you changed since yesterday or last week? Start asking yourself, what do I like? What am I willing to tolerate? What am I firmly standing on that cannot happen? I will not do. I will not accept. That's your assignment too. What do you like? What don't you like? What are you willing to compromise and compromise on? And what will you not tolerate? I refuse. Sometimes we don't even know. We think we know until a situation comes up and we're like, oh, I never thought about that. Well, this is your assignment to start thinking about that because you're going to be placed in areas and arenas and you need to know your standards, your values, your morals. You need to know what you will do and what you won't do. So when people ask, you don't have to sit there and be like, you be like, oh no, it's a no for me. But it's a no for me. Or it could be, you know what? I was feeling this way about it, but I'm willing to compromise this because you already know. Knowledge is power, not just the world knowledge, but knowledge of self. Know who you are and what your limitations are, what you will accept and what you won't, what you like and dislike. Knowledge, power. Thank you so much for tuning in with me this week. We talked about the process. This is step one in the process. This is the purpose. When God purposes something for your life. And if you don't know your purpose, you have an assignment to find your purpose. It starts with your passions and your likes and your loves. We start there. If you already know your purpose, write it down so you can look at your purposes, callings, the things that your assignments that you are going to walk into. It helps to see it. I like to put things in a journal so I can look back months, years later to see. But in this season, you're going to need, I have things all up in my room. I have a whiteboard over there that has assignments on it. I have a roadmap here. My mentor, my coach had assigned to me. So I know what I'm doing on my daily tasks. I have the things that I have a Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, all the way up to Saturday wall things with what is constant, the constant things I have to do. And then there was something else I wanted to say. Oh, I have a whiteboard over here with pressing things that happen. So I can put them on the board so they don't shift my roadmap, but things that I quickly think about. I also take notes. This is a true notebook. This is not my journal. This is a true notebook where I write ideas, thoughts. When I spend my hour a day with God, my hour of greater, when I spend my hour with my phone shut off, with the social media shut off, the TV shut off, my door locked so children can't bother me. I'm not eating, I'm not drinking. I'm just hearing for God for one straight hour. So many things have been birthed. And I thank Lady Ty the Great, who is my writing coach, and she's also my mentor. She gave us this, I'm trying to think, it's a program. It's called Operation Greater. I was trying to think of the right words. Within Operation Greater, you can find it on YouTube. She's Lady Ty the Great. Operation Greater. In that, it's a 7-day operation. It definitely is an operation. It's going to cut into some things, remove some things, it is an operation. That is really good. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Lady Ty the Great, YouTube is called Operation Greater. There's 7 days and you're to do them consecutively. So it's not, oh, I'm do day 1 today and then next week I'll do day 2. Consecutive, 1 through 7, day 1 through 7. And you follow it. And within it, there is an assignment and it's called an hour of greater, where you shut off everything, and you focus. You have your book, and you have your pen. This is just the ink from my pen because I don't have my pen right here. I have my highlighter. And you go in with everything shut off. You quiet your mind. You don't sit here. This is not a time. What errands do I have to do? What do I do after this? What do I have to do tomorrow? None of that. You shut off all of that. And here's, if you can see, that's day 3 from Operation Greater that I did in August. But look at this. That was day 3 in August. But this is from my hours of greater. So I have been going consistently with my hour of greater. You open up your notebook, you can put at the top hour of greater and the date, and I just sit. And things start, I promise you, it works. I suggest doing the hour of greater, but I would rather you start with Operation Greater, the 7-day, so you can get all the information behind it so your hour of greater will flow better. So another assignment, I'm just chock full of assignments when it comes to purpose, because that's my goal. That's my life. That's what I'm here. I'm here for purpose. Where you have dream killers, I'm here as a purpose builder. Oh, I like that, Holy Spirit. High five. I am a purpose builder. Oh, that's going to be a hashtag. What I do, I stay there in my hour, open up a notebook, free page, and I write. And here's the thing, every day, first thing in the morning, if you can. It may cause you to sacrifice and waking up a little bit earlier. That's fine. It's for your purpose. Hear God, not the naysayers, not the dream killers. Look, I have to write down purpose builder. Look, with the ink. That's going in for my hour of greater today. That's what I thought. But within my hour of greater, this is why I want to tell you, it's all about greater. I'm just looking at one of the hashtags that you see me posting about, believe in the power of you. I empower you to believe in the power of you, came from my hour of greater. Because I asked God, what is my purpose besides the things you have given me? What personally is my purpose? What am I to other people? What am I doing for them? Besides the activities, heart to heart, what am I doing? And he said, you're helping people believe what's already in them. And I said, okay, God. And then I'm writing this down because this is my question. And then in my hour, and I was like, what's in them? He said, power. I've given them all power and authority. I just need them to know it. And I was like, wow. And God made it a whole thing for me. It's a whole movement. It's a program. Believe in the power of you. That's why you see me posting it now. That's why you see it everywhere. I'm speaking it. I'm putting it in your face because I need you to believe in the power of you. It already resides in you. Everything I've been doing my whole life that I've been doing is based on helping people believe that they can do it, that they can move forward, that they can push past it, that they can press. Everything. God just put a title on it. So now I understand when I go and meet people and they say, what is it that you do for people? I empower them to believe in the power of them. I understand it now. I am a purpose builder. I just got that talking to you. So God gave me what I do. Now here's the title of it. I'm a purpose builder. That's what I am. I'm a coach, woo, 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 woo. And I build purpose, not for myself, for you. Me helping you build purpose is helping to build my purpose, because that's my purpose. And so I say that to you to say, check out Operation Greater. Commit to doing all 7 days in 7 days. Don't stall. Don't wait. Don't get distracted. Do the Operation Greater. You'll watch the video. There's the first video, day 1, right? After that video finishes, she's going to ask you to do your hour of greater. And then after that, she's going to ask you to check back in with her. So just think of it as like a 3-hour process, even though it doesn't take 3 hours, because I think her videos, Lady Ty's videos are like 30 minutes. Both of them, 15 at the end, 30. But set aside time so you can do it the right way. So you do Operation Greater first, then designate an hour where you can shut off everything, not even eating and drinking, because you want to hear God clearly. You shut off for an hour. You still have shut off right there. You shut off for an hour. You do your hour of greater. And then as you're able that same day, come in for the check-in because there's more valuable information there. Operation Greater. This is to help you. I am so excited to have that tool to use as I need it because it's helping me with my purpose, which is to help build your purpose. Look at God. I'm being poured into so I can pour into you so you can pour out to the masses. Thank you, Lord. So thank you again for joining me today. We're talking about the process of purpose. The process of purpose. This is a series, and we're going to walk through some of the life of Joseph. Not everything, but what God has spotlighted that's going to help you move from stagnation to manifestation. I love you. Have a great week. Don't forget the 20 assignments you have. And it's up to you. I'm not going to check back and say, hey, did you do your work? It's on you. Do you want to walk in purpose? God bless you. I thank you. You guys are so bomb. I promise. I cannot wait for your testimonies of how you walked into your purpose. God bless you.